Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Today Show Detroit. I am Zach Damon. We are so excited to welcome the one and only, the fashion designer Izzy Camilleri to talk about her amazing fashion design career, as well as her adaptive fashion line is Adaptive. Amazing, folks. So please stay with us.
Would you like to donate to our employment programs? Please follow the link below to donate through PayPal. All proceeds go to our programs.
Only one in the hole?
There's only one in the hole.
30, looks like 3164 is the winner then.
31.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Today Show Detroit. I am Zach Damon, joined by the one and only Izzy Camilleri, the fashion designer and founder of Is Adaptive. And Izzy, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, doing wonderful. So there's so much to cover because you've done so much in your amazing career. Do you mind if we jump in?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right, absolutely. So you have made a name for yourself, designing clothing for national and international clients for over 37 years. And of course, you've built an amazing reputation by creating pieces that are provocative yet refined and sophisticated. And of course, the important thing, always wearable. And of course, your designs have been featured in publications from Vogue to InStyle to Harper's Bazaar and Forbes to the highly influential fashionista.com. And of course, top celebrities from all genres have worn many of your pieces as well, including David Bowie, Angelina Jolie, Jason Momoa, Daniel Radcliffe, and of course, Meryl Streep, just to name a few. But I'm curious, Izzy, what first led you to fashion design?
Well, when I was a kid, my mom actually taught me how to sew when I was a little girl, and my mom taught. I have two sisters, and she taught all of us, but I seemed to really enjoy it, and it became a hobby, and then it became a career.
Wow, that's amazing. And of course, I mean, growing up, did you gravitate to any, designers when you were young?
Uh, yeah, when I went to fashion college when I was 19, just after high school, and that was the 80s, and there was a designer named Claude Montana who was he did really beautiful work, and that he was very inspiring. And then actually a designer from like the 20s, a guy named Erte, was also very influential to me.
Wonderful. Yeah. I mean, I think, fashion is something that I think is just amazing because it incorporates so many different things. I mean, would you agree it's almost wearable art in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's a very creative thing, and it also it's the first thing that we see when we see a person. Not only is their face, but what they're wearing, and it really defines who we are and what we're into, and it really defines a lot more than just something that's covering our bodies.
Absolutely. And of course, getting back to your career and your accomplishments in 2006, your fashion line Izzy Camilleri, which combined sleek leathers and of course furs and lavish textiles, that earned you the Canadian Arts and Fashion Awards, or CAFA, the coveted Women Designer of the Year award. And of course, the Royal Ontario Museum featured a 6-month exhibition in 2014 highlighting your unique career in fashion. And then the display included past iconic designer pieces from your signature collection, of course, Izzy Camilleri, as well as the ISMA and the MIZ collections. And of course, it also focused on the revolutionary Is Adaptive collection, an adaptive clothing line created for wheelchair users. So I wanted to know too, because I find this interesting in all the design work that you've done previous. I mean, when did you first realize the idea for the Is Adaptive collection? I mean, what was sort of the motivation behind that? Was there some sort of aha moment for you?
Well, I started to do custom work for a woman who was a wheelchair user back in 2005, and I had never worked with someone with a disability. She was quadriplegic from a very unfortunate shooting when she was 18 years old, and um, so when I started to work with her, I just became a sponge, and I learned all the issues and that she had with clothes, as well as all the compromises she had to make around clothing. And I had no idea that someone who lived with a disability had different clothing challenges than myself, or needs, or that certain things she just couldn't wear. And I it just became very interesting, and also I just became so much more compassionate for people living with a disability, because it wasn't only around clothing, but I just came to understand how she lived her life different than the way I did or have. And so it was through working with her that I realized that there was this huge void out there for people that live with a disability and in and around clothing. So
Yeah.
that was the seed that was planted.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you bring up a great point, right? I mean, getting dressed. I mean, we all, would be going somewhere or something like that, and we don't necessarily think about, oh, gee, it may be difficult to put on these trousers, or for me, it's very difficult to put shoes on. I was born with cerebral palsy, so I use crutches, and so my flexibility is not as flexible as some, and so yeah, shoes have always been something that I really enjoy, right? You like a good
Mhm.
pair of shoes and you like to look good, but to put them on sometimes can be extremely challenging. And so yeah, not you bring up a great point. Not everyone sort of thinks about those different challenges. I mean, I'm curious too. What has the response been in terms of launching Is Adaptive, and have you noticed a great response from that line?
Yeah, definitely. There's been so many moments of appreciation from people, and how, like, literally life changing it can be for people when they've been given something back, in some cases where if someone's had an accident and they couldn't quite dress the way that they used to. um, I had one woman tell me that one of our pieces made her feel human again. Like, that was huge. I've also witnessed people even come, like, cry at
Mm.
the fact that they could start wearing something they thought they could never ever wear. So it's been very, very impactful, and it's been really awesome.
Wonderful. I mean, yeah, that's the power of fashion. I think that, not to be pun intended, but I think, fashion is sort of the fabric that brings us all together in many ways, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like you said, sometimes the first thing you say at a dinner party when you're attending is, "Oh my gosh, I like that jacket," or "Hey, you look really great," different things. So to hear those comments about how it made people feel human again, I mean, that just has to warm your heart. And I want to commend you and all of your staff for the great work that you're doing with this adaptive. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to touch on this too, because while you're still attending the needs of the fashion world, your personal focus revolves around also inner beauty and good health and wellness. And of course, in early 2017, you wrote a self-published book, and it's called Izzy's Eating Plan, with a mission to make present and future generations more helpful. And of course, we're going to take a quick break, folks. But when we come back, we're going to talk more with Izzy Camilleri and talk about Izzy's eating plan right after this.
Hello world, it is Unstoppable Tracy with the Disability Channel inviting you to subscribe and watch live on Roku TV, on YouTube, on Restream, and also listen in Wisconsin Radio, Dave Stevens, all around the world. And on top of all of this, really proud to announce that we now also have a mobile app. So you can download for free, watch Roku TV for free, and the mobile app is free too from Google Drive. Be sure to download it and have it at your fingertips at all times. There's a job platform, and there's a live chat feature, and there's the TV feature with Roku TV, and there's also the social media channels. Take care, folks. Bye for now.
I lost.
Hi, everyone. I am Master Sergeant Retired Anna Maria Blevin, and privileged to be the host of Veterans Onward to Prosperity. Each episode brings you more information, sources, and resources by which you can manage your life, live a life, and thrive in your life.
Satisfying.
So stay tuned to all of our episodes and be the best you can be.
So the most satisfying part of my job is...
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Today's Show Detroit. I am here with one and only Izzy Camilleri, the fashion designer and founder of Is Adaptive. But we were also touching on the great things that she's done, outside of fashion as well. And, Izzy, again, right before the break, you have a big passion for inner beauty as well, and making sure that others really attend to their health and wellness, more specifically towards how they eat. And so you self-published your first book, Izzy's Eating Plan, with a mission to make the present and future generations more healthy. So can you talk about that?
Yeah. I just kind of reached a point in my own life where I wanted to start taking better care of myself, and I was approaching 50, and I thought, I want to be more preventative, than having to deal with issues that I could have prevented for myself. So I needed to lose a bit of weight at the time, and so I kind of looked back on all the different diets and eating plans and stuff like that I had gone through myself. That it was a roller coaster, like everybody. And with the help of a nutritionist, I put this plan together, and I've been following it ever since. And I really changed the way that I eat and take care of myself, and I eat with intention. I don't eat with my eyes. I eat more with my brain, and there's kind of no going back to how I used to eat. So it's important to take care of ourselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think outer beauty, in my opinion, starts from within, right? If you are healthy on the inside and you feel good on the inside, then that shines through, right?
For sure. So many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I just think that that's amazing. And, you talked about eating with your mind rather than, eating with your eyes. And I think especially now, with everything that we're going through, around the world with, a pandemic even, and not having access to maybe even some of the healthier choices that we've had in the past. What advice do you have for some others that may be struggling with, eating well at this time?
Well, I think that I actually disagree. I don't think that the pandemic like, I can see how it can make a difference with in terms of choices, but we're still going to the grocery store. And when we do order out, which we're all entitled and take a break from cooking and all of that. But again, restaurants do have healthier choices. So even for myself, when I'm at a restaurant, I always scan the menu to just see what would be the best choice for me, and not not go off the wagon kind of thing with eating. But at the same time, if I do, that's okay too, because I know tomorrow in my next meal and whatever, I'm just gonna pick up where I left off. So we can give ourselves a bit of a break, and that's fine too. But as long as it's again, you're thinking about it and just think, I'll have this, if you want to call it a treat or bigger meal or whatever, but just to make sure that you go back to taking care of yourself afterwards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, wonderful stuff that you're doing with health and wellness, as well as fashion, and shifting back, if I may, to fashion and what you're doing. I mean, can you talk about some of the amazing goals that you have for Is Adaptive, going forward? What is, the future for Is Adaptive?
Well, I'm gonna continue working at my adaptive line. We've recently just launched a pant that I'm calling the Game Changer, and this pant has a seamless back. And what makes it so important is that many wheelchair users have to be very careful about getting pressure sores. And pressure sores, which I'm sure you may be aware of, but for those that don't, pressure sores are very similar to sores that the elderly get when they're sitting in the same or lying in the same position in bed. What happens is the bone can penetrate the skin and cause an open wound, which is very difficult to heal, and could potentially be life-threatening. So our pants help to prevent that or reduce the risk of. So to me, this pant is probably the most important thing I've ever done. And we're really moving into focusing on that type of pant and just offer more and more different styles, so that, again, people don't have to compromise when they're making their choices about their clothes.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and just, just to continue offering more and more.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm curious too, from an artistic perspective, what do you find more challenging? Is it the actual design implementation, or is it like, coming up with that just original idea?
Well, it's kind of all rolled into one, I guess. It just depends on whatever it is I'm trying to tackle. Again, I have been really, with this collection, I like to keep it simple, keep it approachable, keep it functional, as well as fashionable. But I don't like to make it, something that someone can't use regularly. So I think it's more about defining the fit and defining ways to improve it as a body, like pant or a coat or whatever. So I have done so much in my career, which you've kind of mentioned. So now it's even more, about almost pulling back from all of that and just keeping it really wearable and something that is, people can use.
Absolutely. And and I've heard this, and I'm curious to know too if, as a designer, you think that this is true, but many say, oh my gosh, fashion pretty much circulates. Like in one era there'll be a fashion, and then 20 years later, that same era will circle back around in some sort of different design. I mean, do you see that happen all the time? Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Things, come back all the time. And I guess, like even like jeans have been around a very, very, very long time. Cuts and styles, like waistlines can go up and down, and, bell bottoms, and then, slim legs, and yeah. And then it just gets to a point where almost everything is kind of, like right now there are a lot of different things that are trendy, it's a wide leg or a thin leg or whatever, you know. I think it's best for people to just dress how they want and be who they want to be.
Absolutely. You know, have your own style and display it the best you can, you know, wear your personality. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, folks, we're going to take a quick break and we'll have more with Izzy Camilleri when we come back.
Hi, this is Dave Stevens for the Disability Channel.
An inability to break out. I'm sitting by the door on the second floor, losing my 7-year war. It's not an illusion, so why the exclusion?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's about you. So,
you say you're a disability dynamo.
Joining me, and welcome to this beautiful Travelers Championship.
I only want one accolade from you.
So my story is unique, it's amazing, but it's not anything that you guys don't have inside of you. I'm not a hero, I'm not anybody special, I'm just this guy without legs that went out, and I just did it.
Stats outweigh the Democrats, the diplomats, and the bureaucrats.
This is probably your first interview down on the ground on your butt and stuff like
first
that?
Time, have a
all
baby.
Right.
Eliminate and validate and validate and validate.
Stay with us and the Disability Channel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Today Show Detroit. I am Zach Damon here with fashion designer Izzy Camilleri talking about Is Adaptive and all of her great work in health and wellness and in fashion. So great to have Izzy. And, you know, you touched on a great point right before we went to the break about how fashion does circulate and things do come back around. But it's all about just being comfortable and showing your personality. And I completely agree with you. I think, fashion is one of those things where, you can't necessarily limit it, right? You have to be able to be creative and wear what you enjoy. But as far as what you've done with your career, what are your personal goals going forward? Is it just to continue to design and, just continue to further what you're doing with Is Adaptive? Or do you have any, really big kind of bucket list or personal goals you're hoping to attain?
Well, I think like with Is Adaptive, it has been like climbing a very slippery mountain because it's a very new category. A lot of brands now are starting to introduce an adaptive line, but I've been doing it since 2009. And it was at that time, it was like walking in the dark, no one, nobody, I had nobody to inspire or influence me. And so it's been really, really challenging and really, really hard. So I've got a long way to go. And but at the same time, I'm excited for it, and it is a very big goal, and so that's where I'd like to go. Or before, when I was younger, I did want to focus more on fashion and create more of a fashion brand. Not to say that this isn't a fashion brand, because it is. It's just focusing on a different demographic.
Yeah.
And a demographic who don't have all the options that able-bodied people have. So I'm happy to, stay here and learn how I can serve my customers better.
Absolutely. And one thing that I definitely understand as well is the great buying power that the disability population has. I think a lot of retailers and a lot of designers don't necessarily see that. I mean, for instance, we're in Detroit, in Michigan, and as far as the U.S., in 2018, we contributed up to $9 billion to the American economy in terms of revenue. And to me, that's nothing to bat an eye about. Absolutely.
No. Also, because there's also, not a lot of companies that are specifically serving the disability community. So for people that do, and companies that do want to enter this arena, there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then do you, I'm curious too, is Adaptive, do you have individuals that help you design that, like your colleague, for instance, who you had mentioned earlier in the show, do they help you design, or do they give you feedback?
No, I usually do most of the designing, but sometimes people do suggest things, and
Sure.
I'm always open. Or sometimes customers will tell me what adaptations they've made, or their mom or their spouse or their grandmother has made to their clothes.
Sure.
And sometimes those are really, really great ideas, things that I could potentially incorporate if I feel, that it could be beneficial to the group of people I serve. So yeah, and I'm always open to listen and share, and yeah, but it's mostly my title.
Absolutely.
Design work.
Okay. No, wonderful. And I'm curious too, I mean, where do you see, kind of the fashion industry going? Do you feel like, I personally believe that the adaptive fashion movement is here to stay, that it's only going to continue to grow, especially with the growing population globally, with the elderly and individuals with disabilities, we're the fastest growing global minority. And so, I definitely think it's here to stay. And do you feel the same?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just been really eye-opening for people. And I think even for myself, I didn't know that a problem existed. I didn't know that people with disabilities had clothing challenges. And it was only until I met my first client that I was exposed to all of that. And I know a lot whenever, I run into someone and I explain what I'm doing, a lot of times people are like, wow, I never thought about that before. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I think that now that it has, this category is starting to grow and become something bigger. I definitely don't think it's going away. If anything, it's just going to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and I'm curious too, for those that, are searching for something like Is Adaptive, how can they keep in touch with you? How can they, get a hold of your brand and buy some of your product?
Well, they can go to isadaptive.com. There you can see the whole collection. You can always email us if you've got any questions. You can call us as well. We've got a toll-free telephone number. And then you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook and all of that under Is Adaptive.
Wonderful. And, I'm curious too, will Is Adaptive be at any of the upcoming fashion weeks, such as New York Fashion Week or any of the global fashion weeks coming up?
Not right now. We have participated in some other fashion events, and we're going to be doing one with a veterans association in the U.S. in September. But I haven't tackled a fashion week.
Sure thing, no problem. I mean, as you know, there are amazing events, wonderful electric atmosphere. And I'm sure, as things progress with this adaptive, we will see them and then, of course, see you and your wonderful face introduced on the runway. So great things. Folks, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Today Show Detroit. I am Zach Damon here with Izzy Camilleri, the fashion designer and founder of Is Adaptive. Just a wonderful, amazing career that Izzy has had. And of course, you guys, such an innovator in adaptive fashion as well, and a great passion for not only accessible fashion, but inner wellness as well. So really, really appreciate that. And, Izzy, I'm curious because, of course, I'm sure you've heard it spoken to you many times in your career, but I'd like to know, for those young little girls watching, they're saying, I want to be my own boss someday. I want to have my own business. I want to do something noteworthy. What advice do you have for them?
Well, I would say to follow your dreams for sure. I think that getting exposure in whatever field you want to get involved in, you need to get in, even at the bottom level, volunteer, learn about how other people have done what they've done. You also want to create something unique so that you separate yourself from everybody else doing something in the category that you want to be in. Follow your heart, follow your dreams. You're gonna get knocked down a lot, but just dust yourself off and pick yourself up again, and eventually, you'll get to where you want to be.
Wonderful. Wise words from Izzy Camilleri. Follow your dream, go for it, and remember, folks, as she mentioned, you are never too good for any type of foot in the door. So get in there, volunteer, get involved, and learn from the best. Wise words, Izzy. And, I want to thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you coming on the Today Show Detroit. And by the way, if you do need any models, give me a call.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. It is a pleasure. Folks, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
All about inclusion and really giving everyone a fair say.
Welcome to the Today Show. This is our flagship show. I am Unstoppable Tracy.
I am Zach Damon.
It is a pleasure to be here. I am excited. What is up?
We have a great show today.
Jay Stoyan here for the Disability Channel, the world's only inclusive channel for and by persons with disabilities.
Get ready to be inspired, everyone.
We have people watching from all over the world, but also all over Ontario.
We also take a concerted attention in the veterans community.
In moments of stress and trauma, we can get a hold of ourselves.
To help make a difference for people with disabilities, to show people how to love themselves or their disability.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me, giving this platform for myself and other people with disabilities.
Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this episode of the Disability Channel Detroit. Please tune in next time. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Today Show Detroit. I am Zach Damon. That was a wonderful show with fashion designer Izzy Camilleri. For more information on Is Adaptive, you can check her out on social media at IsAdaptive on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere on the web, and you can also Google her at izzycamilleri.com for her signature line. And by the way, folks, please feel free to follow and connect with the Disability Channel too on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all of our handles at thedisabilitychannel.ca. And please, for more information about our media and training programs, please feel free to reach out. I'm Zach Damon with the Today Show Detroit, and we'll see you next time.